What is going on YouTube? I am going to take you guys through another day of eating today. Today is episode number 2. I'm going to give you another example of every single thing that I eat today to give you guys a bit of an understanding as to what you can get away with versus what you really should be eating. Flexible dieting is a beautiful thing, so I want to show you guys exactly what it is that you can get away with, what it is you can eat, and some of the things that I like to eat both during my day, before I train, after I train, and most importantly for dessert, because dessert is life. As you guys can see, we've got some serious trouble here. Plus, I bought those just in case, really, because there's actually a new donut shop in town. It's not really in town. I had to go driving for it. But there are some seriously impressive looking offerings in here, and there's another 2 boxes of them. So I'm going to do my best to fit those ones into my macros, but to start with, because my protein intake at the moment is 250 grams, and I'm eating more or less in a surplus, right? My hunger is starting to diminish. So I'm going to start today nice and easy, nice and simple. I'm just going to have a protein shake to get some protein in. As I said, my hunger is depreciating a little bit at the moment simply because I'm eating, at maintenance or just above every day, and that tends to build up on you. For those of you that are bulking, you probably know that feel. Hunger tends not to be an issue when you are eating so much on a regular occasion. So for me, I just find that I'm not eating quite so many meals throughout the day. That protein target is getting a little bit more challenging to hit each day. So I just like to kickstart my day with a protein shake. So 2 serves of gold standard banana cream, because banana cream is the most delicious flavor that I have. I'm going to hit that now, and then in a couple hours time I'm going to have my first meal. So I've just done some filming at the gym and it's gone a little bit over time. So I was originally planning on eating a breakfast meal, but because essentially what's happened is I've missed breakfast, I'm going to get on my next meal and I'm just going to change things around for a little bit later on in the day. I've got a few more calories up my sleeve now, but I'll take you through what I'm going to do now instead. So I did have a coffee after my protein shake this morning. I typically log the same entry every single time I have a skinny cappuccino. It's around the 8 to 9 grams of protein mark with about 20 grams of carbs, but I use the same entry every single time because consistency really is key for stuff like that. Even if you are estimating, you want to make sure that you're choosing an entry that is going to be the same for each time you eat the same food. That way the rest of your day is always going to be the same when you're eating that food. A lot of people chop and change the entries they use. Don't do that. Keep things consistent. Consistency is so key for so many things in this whole training and nutrition game. So anyway, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cook some chicken. I like to cook my chicken breast ahead of time. So as you guys can see, I've actually got a couple of chicken breasts here waiting to go. The oven is warming up as we speak. I've got a little bit of this Nando's marinade. It's like a peri-peri marinade. On there. The macros really are negligible, so I haven't actually tracked that. It's not even a serving of what I've got on there, so it's like a gram or 2 of carbs. I haven't actually weighed my chicken. I prefer to weigh my chicken just before I eat it. Just means that I have to use an entry from MyFitnessPal that is referred to as cooked. If you're going to weigh your chicken raw, make sure that when you are logging it, you choose a raw chicken breast entry. If you're going to use cooked chicken breast, then use a cooked chicken breast entry. Now ultimately, weighing your meats raw is going to be more accurate, because obviously the longer that you cook it, the more dehydrated the meat's going to become, the lighter it's going to be. So ultimately there can be different variations of cooked, so to speak. I tend to cook my chicken for the same amount of time each time. It's in the oven at about 150 degrees Celsius for about 20 to 25 minutes, so it ends up being about the same each time. Again, consistency is key. So I'm going to cook those and then I'll show you the rest of the meal in just a tick. Okay, so chicken's out of the oven. I was a little bit wrong. It takes about 25 to 30 minutes at around 140, 150 degrees. So you guys can see that chicken is done and cooked. Now what I'm going to do with this is 1 serve or half a pack of Uncle Ben's rice medley. This is like pre-cooked rice. Just gonna throw it in the bowl there. Done. I've got some pre-cooked pumpkin here. For you guys in the States, we're talking butternut squash. So typically I'll cook these up in advance in chunks that are around sort of 200 to 300 grams. And then we'll just estimate it from there. So I'll typically log 250 grams a serve. Thing is, the macros on butternut squash super low, which means even if I am a little bit out, chances are I'm probably not going to be over or under eating too drastically anyway. So I'm not really too fussed by that. So I'm going to throw that in there. What I'll do is chop up the chicken and throw it in. Got my bowl on the scales. And then weigh it out from there. Because I'm in a stage at the moment where I haven't eaten too much for the day, and as I said before, my protein intake is somewhat challenging to hit. I'll probably just weigh out that chicken and eat an entire breast. So I'll probably be close to around sort of 250-ish, 275 grams maybe cooked. So I'll enter it as a cooked weight, and then I'll throw about 100 to 200 grams of broccoli on top. I also like to get a laughing cow or two into my meal just to add a little cheese, and then I'll probably throw some barbecue rib sauce on the top. Chuck it all in the microwave, we're good to go. Lunch is down, I'm off to the gym to train a couple of clients. Fill you in on the next meal shortly. Not too far off. Time to eat. Other chicken breast is probably either for tonight or tomorrow, depending on what I decide to eat for dinner later on tonight. Because hashtag flexible. Okay, so I've just gone to the gym, about to start my workout. I ate my meal about 2 hours ago now. I've just trained a single client after eating it. And I took my pre-workout about 20 minutes with this session to go. So about 20 minutes before I train, pre-workout in, time to get stuck in. I'll let you know how I go and then jump with the pre-workout feed. So I just got home from my workout, successful benching and upper body accessory session. So normally what I'll do pre-workout on a regular day, obviously today was a little bit disrupted with the way that we were filming this morning, so my first meal ended up getting pushed back a little bit. But normally pre-workout what I'll do is have a protein shake with a couple of Pop-Tarts, simply because I've got the calories to burn, and I like to have something very light in terms of volume, as well as relatively high in sugar, just to fuel my workout. Obviously, if we can spread out our protein intake evenly throughout the day, that's going to help with the whole muscle building process. What I'm going to do today, instead of eating that pre-workout meal before I train, because of the way things have worked out, I'm going to eat it after I work out because, well, I just love Pop-Tarts. So, essentially what I'm going to eat today, post-workout, rather than pre, is my Pure Pro 35, which is like an Optimum Nutrition ready-to-drink protein shake, cookies and cream flavor. It is delicious. It's probably the best protein shake you can have if you're dieting, simply because it's super, super thick, so it's really filling. Probably not the best thing to be having when bulking, but it's super delicious. So I smashed that. And today we've got red velvet. Two of those bad boys, about 70 grams of carbs, 10 grams of fat, combined with the protein, 35 grams of protein. It ends up being a pretty damn perfect pre-workout meal. As I said, I'm having it today after I train simply because of the way things worked out. But that is my post-workout meal. I like to keep it nice and convenient, typically because after I train, I'm normally going straight back into the gym to work with clients, or I have very limited time after I train. So I try and keep that as simple as possible until my next meal. Okay, so the time has come for dinner, which of course means, oh no, actually, I made a mistake. Hulk's normally pretty interested in my dinner, but not today. Anyway, so I am actually going to eat the same thing that I ate for lunch for dinner today, with one slight change. I'm going to have a little bit less chicken, simply because I've already cooked it, it's ready to go. But with the protein injection that I had after my workout, that Pure Pro 35, I've actually tipped over the scales in terms of my intake, so I can't quite afford to have as much chicken. So on another day when I might have calculated or logged my day ahead of time, I would have realized that I might not have been able to eat so much at night, and sort of evened up the ratios or the amount of chicken that I was having at each meal. So can only afford myself around 170, 175 grams of cooked chicken breast tonight for dinner, and I'm still going to go a little bit over my protein. But what I'm going to do to compensate is bring my carbs back ever so slightly. The reason I'm eating so clean is because, as I showed you guys before, we've got some pretty epic looking desserts, and I want to be able to make sure that I can fit in at least 2. So that's going to be happening pretty soon. So what I'm going to do now is put together my meal. As I said, it's exactly the same as my lunchtime meal. Pretty boring. Won't even bother showing it to you guys. But then I'm going to take you through how I'm going to log my donuts, because everyone wants to know, how do you log a donut time donut? Alright team, the time has come for dessert. Now, as I showed you guys earlier, I've got a few donuts on my sleeve. What I didn't show you was just how many, because I went a little bit nuts when I went donut shopping earlier today. You see, normally we stick with donut time, they're pretty good. They're tried and they're tested, they're yummy. But we heard about a new place today, so I had to check them out. It's called My Donut Box. As you can see, these things look ridiculous. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit 2 of them. Now, typically what I do is log a salted caramel donut from a place called Morrison's. Now again, this is Beck. Beck is super, super amazing at estimating foods, and this is the one that she uses. I got it from her. If you want to see more about how she logs her food, then you should definitely give her a follow on Snapchat. It's Beck-Chambers. But we're going to run with the salted caramel entry tonight, because I'm going to hit these 2 just here. This is a salted caramel donut on the left. This is a golden gay time donut in the middle. They are a little bit smaller than donut time, but what I thought I'd do is I'd use the same entry anyway and cover all of my bases. The entry itself has about 23 grams of fat and about 62 grams of carbs, and I reckon that's probably a pretty fair estimate for what it is I'm about to eat. A lot of people tend to log conveniently rather than accountably. What I mean by that is, it's all well and good to search for a salted caramel donut and then choose the entry that has the lowest amount of calories, but at the end of the day, your body is still going to be tracking those calories and those foods that you're eating accurately. So if you aren't, you're leaving yourself open to the opportunity of overeating and potentially gaining weight or slowing down your cut, whatever it is you may be trying to achieve. So I'm going to go for essentially maybe a little bit of overestimating, just in case, to make sure I've got my bases covered, and maybe even have just an extra bite of one of those super long, delicious looking ones. That is going to round out my macros for the day. I did end up going over my protein just a little bit. Thing is, I've lowered my carbs ever so slightly to compensate for that. I also have around 10 to 15 grams of fat left over, which I just thought, well, you know what, I'm eating donuts, maybe I've underlogged, so for today only, I'm okay with that. Consistency over time is the most important part. So I've ended up getting pretty damn close to my 250 grams of protein, my 375 grams of carbs, and my 105 grams of fat. So I'm happy with that today. That's going to do me. As I said, I might have an additional bite of one of the other ones just to see what it tastes like. But for now, that's it from me. That is the end of episode 2 of a full day of eating. If you guys have any questions, please make sure to put them in the comment section below, because I want to answer them for you. If you have any more requests, again, pop them in the comments section. And if you want to learn more about flexible dieting, more about how to eat the foods that you love and still lose weight, then you can check out my ebook, The Flexible Nutrition Bible. The link is in the description section underneath. Until next time, guys, cheers.